Do, 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 do. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from... Hang on, my live's not showing up. I'm having to go live on my live. Oh, there I am. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Oops, hang on. Now I've got to figure out how to mute this one. There we go. We got the mute off. All right. I just got to keep an eye on the picture to make sure that when I share my screen, everything goes according to plan. Who knows? It's technology. I've only shared the screen once on StreamYard, so we will see how it goes. But welcome to Before the Dirt Nap, number 1168. It's a podcast. Yes. My brain's all over the place today. It has been a very busy day, lots of stuff happening. Got to do day 3 of our 4-day writing class. Oh, it's actually just a workshop to help you get started and to help you find the right direction that you want to go with your writing and to give you some ideas and just the basics. But it's been a very interesting class to partake of. So tonight we're back, we're still in Family History Month. It is Family History Month, the month of October. And so tonight we are talking about, do you have a family mystery to, a mystery to solve? Ooh. Do you have a family mystery to solve? And where can you go and find clues? So, I'm going to see if I can get this to work. Hang on. I got to see if I can get this to work. This is going to be the fun thing. Oh, I still have a card game open. Look at that. All right, we're going to go to this. Whoa. Hang on. Oh, let's go over to this page here. There we go. It was supposed to be on that one. That's not working. Why is that not working? Oh, hang on. Helen's on the wrong page. That's why. Let's just stop that for a second. Like I said, anything goes. Anything can happen. You never know when you're working with me. Seriously, you never know what's going to happen. You really don't. All right, now we should be... I am so sorry. You guys are, you can, if you're worried about doing a podcast on video, don't. If you screw it up, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. All right, so what you're looking at here is my 3rd great-grandfather, okay? This is an ancestry, and it's in my family tree. And as you can see, when it's a direct line, it actually tells me right here under his name that this is my 3rd great-grandfather. Okay, it's got him here. He was born about 1820, we suspect. We're not 100% sure on that, but we definitely know he was born in England, and his death was around 1851 in Wainstead, Essex in England, and he is my 3rd great-grandfather. This is the guy I am now trying to find. But the question is, who was he? Yes, there are hints here, and I will show you those hints in a moment. I also have documentation that I have him listed in. I don't know why I have that. I don't have that linked to anything, but I can show you that one anyway. But so what's happening here is that we can see over here on the right-hand side under his parents, we know his father's name, and I will show you how we found his father's name. Here is his wife that he married, Elizabeth Morris, who is my 3rd great-grandmother. And this is William Henry Morris Price, who is my 2nd great-grandfather. And we will show you documentation that gives us glimpses into who Henry, and just a little snippet into who William Henry Price is. So down here you have his little time life thing. His little time life thing. His timeline. These are the facts. We can click here and it will take us to his story and show you the different places in England he has lived. It basically turns the facts into a story for you, which is kind of cool. And you can see his timeline there. But if we go over to hints, well, we're not doing a survey right now. We're in the middle of something else. We have family tree thingies here where other members have submitted their trees. And there is also a criminal register which has a William Henry Price in there who was born about 1819, which kind of puts us in the same area. And his residence at the time was in Worcestershire. Oh, it's like the sauce, England. And the 30th of December of 1839. Now, I can tell you right now that this is a record for larceny, and he was in prison for 3 months at the age of 20. But I don't know if this is my William Henry Price. So it's still sitting here. We're going to have to wait a bit to see. We have these trees here, and if we have a look at the trees, what trees are here? Over here is my information on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is other people's information. And, you know, under here it's got their sources and then records that they have on there. And where it's highlighted, where it's got highlighted information, that is information that is missing from my tree. That is information that they show there. But I don't know if their information is correct or not. I want to see the sources. I want to find out how they found that person. So when I go in and look at the trees, and I happen to know that this person here is actually a cousin of mine. She's like either a second cousin or a second cousin once removed. Can't remember. But she's actually a cousin of mine. And this is my muck around tree. Yeah, so we totally ignore my muck around tree. So we'll just go back here to the previous page. But what I have done under here, and the cool part is that you can do, we can view him in the tree. So let's do a quick view of him in the tree so you can see how it looks. So this is William Henry Price here. Here is his father, Joseph Price, and I can show you how we got his information. Here is his wife. Notice how there's these two little leaves over here, to the left of her box. That means that there is more information on her for her side of the tree along with the thing. Now, what's interesting is that down here it shows William's grandchildren, but these ones along here from James Barrington across to Rose Carey are not even related to William Henry Price. They're actually Elizabeth's grandchildren. And when I click these little leaves here to show the tree a little fuller, it now brings out her, oops, hang on. If this thing suddenly goes in and out with the mouse, please excuse me, it's my Apple mouse. It's very touchy on some things. So as soon as we bring in her second husband, James Thomas Barrington, as soon as we bring him in, this changes to Elizabeth's grandchildren, which is correct. Because these ones here, like James, Sarah, and John, are all Elizabeth and James's children, not William's. But under William Henry Price and Elizabeth Morris, we have William Henry Morris Price, who is my second great-grandfather. Yes. So we'll click on here and we go to his profile. All right, and we're going to go back to facts. And I'm going to click on view notes, because over here, as I find information, I'm plotting it in here so that it's all here in the same place, in one place where I know where it is. And it's got here, we're going to start at the top. What happened to William Henry Price? On the 1851 census, it shows his wife Elizabeth Price is married and the wife of a working jeweler, but no mention of William Henry Price. Where is he on the 1851 census? And I will show you a copy of that census that lists just his wife and his child. His marriage to Elizabeth Morris shows he is an agent, and his father Joseph Price is a jeweler. And we'll have a look at that one in a moment as well. Interesting to note, on the marriage records, this is the marriage records for Elizabeth and William, one of the witnesses is Samuel, and it looks like Major, which is why I've got it in parentheses with a question mark, Hicks. The last name Hicks appears in the Cleve, which is my paternal grandmother's side of the family, and Price is on my paternal grandfather's side. Is there a connection between the witness and the Hicks on the Cleve side? So that gives me another question that I now have that I can go and look at later to see if there is as you're researching, you come up with other questions as well. So this is another question I will be looking at later on. So on son William Henry Morris Price's baptismal record dated November the 18th, 1855, and it shows that he was born 18th of November, 1849. So this is his 6th birthday. It shows father's abode was Wainstead in Essex. The baptism took place in St. James Curtin Road in the county of Middlesex, and showed the mother Elizabeth living at 1 Bartlett's Building, Earl Street, Finsbury. Directly below William Henry Morris Price's baptismal record is one for James Robert Barrington, dated the same date. Okay, November the 18th, 1855, who was born 28th of November, 1854. His parents are James Thomas and Elizabeth Barrington, who reside at, and then there is that same address. And that is what caught me, because I've always been taught when you're looking at records, always look above and below. And if you're looking at a certificate, if you're looking at an original certificate, turn it over and have a look at the backside. You will always find interesting information. This is how I found out when I saw this, and then directly below there was the same mother there for both of these two. And then I came up with the question, what happened to William Henry Price? Where is he? What happened? Upon further investigation, a marriage record for James Thomas Barrington and Elizabeth Price, dated the 22nd of November 1852. It has James Thomas Barrington, age 22, as a bachelor and a book finisher. Elizabeth Price is listed as a widow at age 24. So by the 22nd of November 1852, she was a widow. And yet on the 1851 census, which is taken sometime between April and June, there is actually a place you can go and look up and see the actual date of the census. So sometime between the census of 1851 and the 18th of, she's got a thing for November, I'd have to tell you. The 22nd of November, 1852, her first husband passed away because she was getting married to another guy by November. So somewhere between 1851 and 1852, my third great grandfather passed away, if it says that she's a widow. Now, I have found a newspaper article for a William Henry Price who got married to a woman in Adelaide in Australia. And I thought, oh, did he abandon her, divorce her or something? And she's put that she is a widow, because it's better because in those days it was better to be known as a widow than it was to be known as a divorcee. And so it was quite common for women who had been divorced in the 1850s to turn around and say that they were widows, especially if they moved into a new area where they were just getting established and nobody knew who they were. They would turn around and say that. Because it was more accepted in society to be a widow than it was to be a divorcee. It showed both showed the resident at 29 Whitecross Place, and the wedding took place in St. James Church in the parish of Shoreditch in the county of Middlesex. Then on the marriage record of William Henry Morris Price, which is his son, my second great grandfather, to Martha Sophia Anglis, it shows William Henry Morris Price occupation as a bookbinder. So we now got this tie-in to up here to James Thomas Barrington, who was a book finisher, and his father was listed as William Price, occupation foreign agent. So I now have these occupations of being a jeweler, being a working jeweler, being an agent. That was on his own marriage certificate. He's listed as agent, which is why I suspect, even though his father was the jeweler and he was listed as the agent, and on his son's marriage certificate it had that he was a foreign agent, that he was one of those people that would go to distant countries, buy gems, and bring them back to be made into jewels. That's where that theory comes in. So now I have all of these questions in here and I have all this information. So what I would do next with this information, and I haven't done it yet, is I would take this information and I would put it onto a spreadsheet. Everything I know about this person, and then I would start searching the records. But let's show you what some of the records look like as to where some of this information came from. So this is, that's actually the index thing. This is the registration of marriage. So we're going to go in here, 7th of March, 1850, in St. Andrew, Holborn, City of London in England. Father is listed as Joseph Price. Spouse is Elizabeth Morris. And this is William Henry Price. This is my third great-grandparents' marriage certificate or marriage in record. So it comes up looking like this, and this is where my mouse is going to go like crazy. So here is their record here. Let's see if I can get it to cooperate with me. All right, now I'm not going to touch anything. All right, so up in the top left corner, it says 1850, marriage solemnized. Now, remember, my second great-grandfather was born in November the 18th of 1849. Their marriage took place May 7th, 1850. It is surprising how many records I come across like this where the marriage took place after the birth of the first child. It is, I don't know if it's just, no, actually it's not just in my family, it's in other families as well. So going across here, we have William Henry Price, full age. He's a bachelor. He's an agent. He lived in Hatton Garden. His father is Joseph Price, a jeweler. Then down here, we've got Elizabeth Morris, full age, spinster, Hatton Garden. Her father is John Morris, and he was a gardener. This comes in handy later on, the John Morris and the gardener, because when I find her marriage certificate to Barrington, it shows on the marriage certificate that she is 24 years old, and she is a widow, and her father is John Morris, gardener. So that's those information matching up. Then down here, it was married in the parish church according to the rites and ceremonies of the established church on, hang on, sorry, this is where my mouse does its crazy zoomy thingies, on or after banners by me, and then it's got the name of and it says rector, not pastor, but rector. Then down here, this is their signatures here. And then it's got John Morris was a witness. I don't know if that was her father or if it was a brother. And then it has the Samuel, and that looks a little like major, but I'm not exactly sure because sometimes they wrote their S's that kind of look like this. So I've got to go and investigate this one a little more just to check on the spelling. But the last name of Hicks. And on my paternal grandmother's side, they have a Hicks on their side of the family as well. So this is one piece of documentation that we have. And then up here it was, do we read that? Oh, we're in the county of Middlesex in the parish of St. Andrew, Holborn. So this is all taking place in London. And then one of the things that you can do with these is if you click on the little spanner here, if I go to print it, it will also, I can get it to print the index as well and the source information. So, and you should always document where you got things from, have all the source information, all that. The cool part about Ancestry is that this information here, or the source information, will be attached to this image and to this record that is attached to their file and things. But I mean, and for me to go back and find it, I just got to go to his profile and click on it like you saw me click on it. So now I'm going to go over to William Henry Price. This is my second great-grandfather. And as you can see, yeah, they had a few kids. So again, he was born 18th of November 1849 in Wanstead, Essex. And he died in 1937 in Wellington, New Zealand. So it's my second great-grandfather. And if we come down here, we've got his birth with 11 sources. Yes, a lot of sources, which is good. The more sources, the better. The death of his father when he was 2, his birth of his half-brother, and then here's all of his half-siblings, his marriage in England to my second great-grandmother, and the birth of his daughter. He's also got a half-brother that was born, just before that, where his residents were. This is all in England. And then down here has got its arrival in New Zealand in 1879 into New Zealand on board the Warwick, the ship the Warwick. And then he had about 4 kids, 4 in England, and then he had some that were born in New Zealand as well. And then he's got the death of, and then it comes the death of. So the ones in white are the ones that I can edit and the ones that I have added. The ones that are in the darker shades have been added into his timeline because they are related to him in some way, be it a child, be it a sibling, a parent. We'll have that in there. And then down here that he's buried in Karori Cemetery in Wellington. Is this the one? No, that was a different one. Okay, so on this one here, here's the 1851 census that we were talking about where it's just Elizabeth Price, age 20, William Price, age 1, and that he was born in Wanstead, Essex, England. His mother's name is Elizabeth Price. He is male. It says registration district is West Ham. And then you got all this other stuff here, and it even tells you what page, place, page number, and everything that is on there so that you can see that. If we go and actually view the image, this is really cool. So down here we've got Elizabeth Price. Now this, whoops, sorry. This is what I was talking about with my mouse. I apologize. Up here is relation to head of family. Under Elizabeth Price, she has wife. So she is the wife of the head of the family. But as you see, there's only 2 people, the wife and the son, no head of family. She is age 20 on the 1851 census, and she is the wife, and I believe this says a working jeweler. I've blown it up and looked at it, and that's what I keep coming back with. And she was born in Cambridge. And again, here is my second great-grandfather, son, age 1. And of course, he's under the column of male. And it says here married. If she was widow, it would, the U says unmarried, and I don't see a widow on the page here. But if she was a widow, it would have listed there a W or widow written in there. But he was very much alive during the 1851 census, as far as we know. And so it's got their birthplaces here correct. So this is what this particular census looked like in 1851. This was the first census in England that showed the relationships of the households. On the 1841 census, it just has their names. It does not have this relation to the head of the household. And you can see on this one up here, they've got the head, the wife, and then the daughters. This one here, they've got the head, the wife, and the sister. And because of her last name, she's a sister of the husband, of the head of the house. And then there's a visit. I think it says visitor underneath there. Not sure. Sometimes, and this one here, it says a niece. It says nephew, niece. So yeah, so it has their relationship to that. And this was the first time on the English census that it showed the relationships between the people in the households. So if I went to an 1841 census for Elizabeth, she would have been Elizabeth Morris at the time, it would not show the relationships, which makes it a little tricky when you're trying to figure out if that's the right Elizabeth Morris. So you can only go by other records to help fill in the gaps. Then if we come down here, this is a copy of his marriage record. This is a copy of the marriage record for my second great grandparents, and they are over here. And again, we're going to have to deal with the wicked mouse. All right, I don't know if you guys can see this very clearly on here, but this is 1869 in the county of London. And June 12th, William Henry Morris Price to Martha Sophia Anglis. They're both of full age, both unmarried, and he is a bookbinder. Residents at time of marriage, they're both living at the same place because it's got DO for ditto. His father was William Price, who was a foreign agent. And this was the first one I saw, and I saw the foreign agent. This is the first time I saw anything about my third great-grandfather. I thought, oh, he's a spy. And I saw a foreign agent. I thought, oh my gosh, he's a spy. We had a spy in the family, and they actually put it in documentation that they had a spy. So it was, I know. But it wasn't until later on that I found out that I found the 1851 census and saw he was actually a jeweler, and I was like, darn. But then I saw on his own marriage certificate he had agent and his father was a jeweler. So then that started making sense of being the foreign agent, and suddenly thinking, okay, we've got the foreign agent, we've got him being a jeweler. He's one of those guys that goes traveling to get to maybe even buy pre-made jewelry, or just to buy the gems and bring them back to be made into jewelry by the jewelers back by his dad. So that's what I figured, that, or maybe he was off selling the pieces of jewelry his father made. That could be the other thing as well. He was taking the pieces his father had made to other countries. Who knows? I got to find out more. So we've now got him on here as a foreign agent. Let's see, there's their signatures there. Who are there? Well, that's James, that's Robert Newton. So Robert Newton, I have no idea who he is, but I might have to figure that one out. So it's interesting when you see the witnesses, it's like, are they related to the people or are they just friends? And you can figure, and doing more research will bring that up for you as well. And what was the other piece? Hang on, I got to go back to. Oh yeah, this one, the baptism. So this is how I cracked the code with my. So this is the births and baptisms for Hackney, St. James in Shoreditch, which is a place in England, which is a place in Middlesex of London. It's part of London. So baptisms solemnized in the parish of St. James, Curtin Road, in the county of Middlesex in the year of 1855. So if we come down here, and I'll zoom in again and see if my mouse will cooperate. Yay! November the 18th, William Henry Morris, born the 18th of November 1849, to William Henry and Elizabeth Price. And it's got the address of 1 Bartlett's building. Yeah, Bartlett's building, East Street, Finsbury. Then it's got father's abode was Wanstead, Essex. And that the father is a jeweler because it's father's occupation. And then this is the officiant. So C.B. Broadley. Oh, we'll worry about him later. So this is when I was like, it says father's abode was. Now, being the good person that I was, I wrote down all the information. I went above, and this was somebody completely different. Then I went below, and this is what I'm talking about when I went below. So here is, actually we're just going to see if we can move them over this way a little bit. Get both of these in the same frame. Again, November the 18th, I thought, same day. I wonder who was baptized on the same day as him. James Robert, born, sorry, that's what I'm talking about with my mouse when it has its own mind. I tell you, drives me batty. Born 28th of November in 1854, and I know it looks a bit like a 6, but this is 1855, so it has to be a 4. To James Thomas and Elizabeth Barrington. I thought, Then I catch the 1 Bartlett's building, Earl Street, and I went, hang on, it's the same address. Oh, he's a bookbinder. Where did I see bookbinder before? On my second great-grandfather's marriage certificate, where it said that his father was a foreign agent and he himself was a bookbinder. And so then I'm looking at this going, these are the same address. And this said was. So now the wheels are starting to whir and go, what's going on here? Let me go find the marriage certificate. Let me go see if I can find a marriage certificate for these two. So then we went back out of this and come over to Elizabeth Morris. And now I'm going to come down here. I need to click on here because I find the right record. And then we go and view her marriage record here. And it's got Elizabeth Price, which is her married name, age 24, married the 22nd of November. I said she's got a thing for November. The number of people in that family that were born in November. Now she's got married in November of 1852. Remember, my second great-grandfather was born on the 18th of November, 1849, and was baptized on his 6th birthday. And then he had a half brother that was also born in November that was baptized on the same day. Marriage place was St. James, Shoreditch, Hackney, England. So St. James, same parish as where the kids are baptized. Father is John Morris. Spouse is James Thomas Barrington. Is this the same? Is this Elizabeth Price, my third great-grandmother? So then I have a look at the image, and they are up here in the top corner here. Woo! Okay, so funnily enough, St. James Church, same parish where my second great-grandfather was baptized. This is November the 22nd, 1852. So this is 2 years before my second great-grandfather was baptized. James Thomas Barrington, age 22, a bachelor, a book finisher. Where have I seen the bookbinding before? So the bookbinding came through on my second great-grandfather's marriage certificate first. Then I found his baptismal record where James Thomas Barrington was listed as a book finisher, or on the baptismal record it said bookbinder. Okay, so we're in the same area here. Then we have Elizabeth Price, age 24, and she is a widow. This is how I found out that my third great-grandfather may be dead. And so I thought, well, is it the same? And I go over here, and her father's name was John Morris, and he was a gardener, which ties in with what is written on her marriage certificate to my third great-grandfather. So you can see how pulling all these pieces together helps you create a picture of, if you can hear any roaring, it is the fighter jets flying. They must be doing night flying because they're taking off right now. So again, here is their signatures. So now I know that in November of 1849, my second great-grandfather was born to William Henry Morris Price and Elizabeth Morris, who got married the following May in 1850. In 1851, she was listed on the census with my second great-grandfather, but my third great-grandfather was missing. I haven't found him yet on the census because there's a lot of William Prices on the census. And unless he puts Henry in there, it makes it a little more difficult to find it because I don't know right now where he was born. That's the only other thing is I don't know where he was born. But as you can see, they're both living at 29 White Cross Place. And I apologize, my dog has decided it's time. It's lobster squeaky toy time. Her lobster bun. You just have to wait. So you can see how we're pulling all of these pieces of information together. What do I do next? So let's go back here. So that's their marriage certificate. So, yep, these are the same people. And as you can see, we've got all of these people. And if we just go edit, you can see, oh, that one was a December. I know there's another November one down here somewhere. Whoops, hang on, wrong button. Oh, she was January. But there was Arthur, I think it was another November one. Yeah, he was the 14th of November. 18th. No, my grandfather was the 18th. But if we go back to William Henry Price, I still have Joseph Price. I don't have a mother yet. There's family trees showing me another mother, and I'm sort of like, how did they get that? How did they verify that was the same person? So if I go back to my notes, this is how I got all my notes and found everything. So we have looked at the 1851 census to show where Elizabeth and my second great-grandfather were. We have seen his marriage certificate where he was listed himself as an agent and his father was Joseph Price, a jeweler. We had a look at William Henry Morris's baptismal record, which was actually the first piece of the puzzle that I found. Oh, no, sorry. The first piece I came across when researching my second great-grandparents was their marriage record, this piece down the bottom here. Where it says on the marriage record of William Henry Morris Price to Martha Sophia Anglis, it shows William Henry Morris Price occupation as a bookbinder, and his father was listed as a foreign agent. So that was my first piece. And so then it was like, okay, we've got to find more information about William Henry Morris. And so it took us a while, but I finally found his baptismal record, and that's where all of this piece here comes in, and we find the bookbinder, who is the stepfather, and then we go and have a look at their marriage record, which we just had a look at as well. And from there, I eventually found my third great-grandparents' marriage record as well. So this is how I've been following the crumbs and filling in the gaps. Now I have my research question here is what happened to William Henry Price. I also need to find out where he was born and when. And I'm still looking for him on the 1851 census. So something happened to him between the 1851 census and November of 1852 when his wife got remarried. So I have that time frame to go and have a look. But William Price is a common name in that in that time period. So that is now I have the basis for doing the search. I have a few hints there. From there, I'm going to go and look at other records. I'm going to go see what records I can find about the place they were living in at the time the census was taken in 1851. See if I can find any more. I'm going to be looking for probate records. They have a wills and testament. She's got another squeaky toy now. She's got the hedgehog that farts. Sorry, that's what it sounds like. It's meant to be like a duck. Anyway, so now I've got other places because of the information that I already have. I can now go and look at other areas like did they rent or own the places that they lived in. Sorry, just waiting for the jets to go over here. Did they rent or own the places that they lived in? Because I have the place of where they were when they got married. I have the place that they were living in the 1851 census. I can also go look at the last wills and testaments and probates and see if I can find any records there for William Price that fits in. And when I look at the probates and stuff, I'm going to be looking for information that ties him to his wife and child. Most of the time, they would leave stuff. They would have an executor to the estate, which was typically a male in that time, but the wife and the child may be mentioned at the time. And his son was only 2 when he passed. When it was only 2, maybe 3, no 2, 2 or 3. When his father passed away. So it's going to be interesting looking for more records. But I'm going to start looking, and I'm going to be searching these on the English records to see what I can find online. If I can't find the stuff online, I'm going to see what resources are available. Can I email them for information, or do I have to find somebody a genealogist in England that can go and look up the records for me? So there's all these sorts of avenues that are starting to open up. I can't find anything in the newspapers through one newspaper source. I've got to go try the other newspaper source and then have a look to see if England has a newspaper archive that I can go and search as well. So there's lots of different places I can go and look. And I will keep you guys posted on what happens with William Henry Price and William Henry Morris Price and what other information we can find. But I got a lot of information on William Henry Morris Price. It's just his dad I want to find more information on. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm out of here. I've got a puppy that needs to go for WALK as well as have some PLAY time. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening, and I believe it will. Oh, hang on. I need to go to the other window for that. Hang on. It's tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be later. Yes, tomorrow is definitely going to be later. It is going to be tomorrow night. We are going to be at 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow evening, because I have a networking event on tomorrow night that goes till 7, and then I got to walk Zeph. So 8 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow night. We will catch you guys then. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hey, Konera.